Hi, and welcome to the Stay Rich podcast. On this podcast, we're going to have successful entrepreneurs coming on to teach us about how they live a rich lifestyle and give tips and motivational strategies to navigate the world. And in addition to that, we're also going to be interviewing high-level, extremely killer, competent divorce attorneys who are coming onto the show to tell us their war stories, to tell us all of the things that you as a man should not be doing if you are going through a divorce today. Everybody, welcome to the Stay Rich podcast. I'm so excited to be sharing today's episode with a good friend of mine, and I was actually on his podcast earlier this year, Muneeb from Punches and Prayers. Muneeb, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a great honor, and I just want to let people know that I really appreciate the work that you're doing. For a man of your nature, with what you've accomplished, and giving back to masculinity, to families, to helping out of your own way, and coming out and doing this and becoming this man. I really love your content. A lot of guys in my men's group shared your content to me, and that's why I had you on my podcast to begin with. And I liked your energy, so I'm like, let me DM this guy, and here we are. I feel like we're good friends now, and we're on a path together. And I really love what you're doing, so I want to commend you for that.
Well, thank you very much. And I mean, obviously, this is a reciprocal relationship. And, you know, I think it's important for guys in today's environment in 2025. It's so hard for men to speak and have a voice for themselves because it's taboo. It's difficult. It's hard to express ourselves in a positive way and instill change in other people. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show. I wanted to get our audience to learn a little bit more about you, to learn about sort of how you got into your own business, the type of mentality that takes, and the different sort of issues that you've encountered over time as you've done that. So how about you introduce yourself just generally?
Generally, my name is Muneeb Muhammed. I'm turning 35 this year. I've been involved in different businesses. For the past 7-8 years, I've been stable in the construction business in Ontario, related to basement specifics. So we are the biggest basement builder in Ontario today. And this journey started off a long time ago, but long story short, today we are the largest basement builder in Ontario. We have the capacity to build over 300 basements a year. And we were doing that during COVID. Like, that was when the market was crazy. And we would love to be Canada-wide at some point soon. We want to launch our operations into Alberta as well. There's a big need. I go back and forth to Alberta. And I would say I'm one of the founding fathers of the basement industry. There was no basement industry. It's a very new industry. And that's what my current business is. But I've been involved in security business before. I was involved in HVAC sales. And I was involved in selling windows and doors. And I always work as a number two normally. But this is my own business. And even in my business, I have a partner. And I like to be number two. So I always tell men that sometimes it's better to be a good number two than be a number one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you look at some of the greatest founders, Microsoft was nothing without Steve Wozniak, I think his name is. Is that his name? The guy that owns the Clippers or whatever? And he was a great number two, still worth a couple $1 billion. He was a great number two. Apple is another example. I think the current CEO used to be a number two, and now he's a CEO.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, you be great at knowing your position. It doesn't have to be that you're the top guy, and because like some people say entrepreneurship is sexy, it's not. And the ego out of the entrepreneurship, I think the past like 15 years, they've kind of made entrepreneurship so sexy and it's the thing to do, where I don't think it's for everybody. And it depends on what you consider entrepreneurship. Like, do I consider real estate agents entrepreneurs? No, but they call themselves entrepreneurs, right? So it's like, what's an entrepreneur really, right? How much risk is involved? And that's kind of like the stuff I talk about. I dabbled into this masculine stuff over the past 2 years with my own story and my own divorce. I essentially saw throughout my years as a young kid observing, since I've been on my own since 17, a big concerted effort to diminish masculinity and to diminish American Western men. And I'll even go further. White men even have it harder. And even when I talk to like the Caucasian community or white people, as they say, I actually feel for the race. But the question is like there's a concerted effort, let's say to the who's who of the world or whatever they are, we don't know who they are, to take that away from society. And it's not natural, and based on those things, we are here today.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because, I mean, you're right. Like this trend of taking away what an actually masculine person looks like and how do they act and do things. It's so stereotypical today, where it's like somebody who's kind of a jerk, who's, strong but cruel. And to juxtapose that, I mean, there's so many really masculine men who are not jerks. They're kind and they have boundaries and they put them there and they're careful with those things, but they don't actually go out looking for a fight. You know what I mean? Like they're not going out in the world looking to prove that they're the alpha male, blah, 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 blah. They're just calm, and I get a lot of that energy from you too, where it's like, I am who I am and I'm confident in that. And that's it. And I have certain things that I want and I have certain things that I need and I'm willing to ask for those things. And I have expectations. And that's perfectly okay. That's what being a masculine man is about. And if you have loved ones, if you have family, if you have anybody that's working for you, it's important to have those things, because otherwise it's an unequal relationship. They're getting something from you, but you're not actually getting anything because you're not willing to put yourself out there and just be confident.
Yeah, 100%. So to add on to that, personally, what I'm doing and the stuff I do this out of a good cause. It's nothing to do for my own ego, for myself. I don't even care about what happens to me. I actually don't. I'm willing to put myself on the line in this journey, no matter how far it takes me. If it takes me to jail even, it's okay. I'm doing it because what the hell are we going to do without men, as Jordan Peterson said in one of his reels. And that reel hits home to me, even though I don't agree with everything Jordan Peterson says or his stance is. But this is the problem with society today, that they say like, take good from anybody, right? Take good from the devil even, right? There's some good in everybody. I'm not all good, I'm not all bad, like myself. But I genuinely am doing this, not as a martyr, I want to say it to be, but as a person that literally wants to take this to the nth degree, because what are we going to do without men? And I always talk about this in funny ways. I know some of my videos and reels are controversial. It's done with a twist. Like, for example, I said, it's funny how feminism exists today and the extent of what it exists after the world is built, after the driveways are made, after the airplanes were built, after cell phones were put together, after all this infrastructure to maintain it still was done, majority by men, for now someone to say we don't need men, because that's the other narrative being pushed. It's being pushed in cartoons, it's being pushed in shows, it's being pushed on Netflix. And if you look at even our movies, right? People always ask me, why don't you watch too many movies? I'm like, because they don't want to show hardcore stuff that we used to see in the 90s.
Yeah.
There's no Robert De Niro acting like, Heat or Casino or any of those like traits that a man had. It's all about a soft guy. And even when they show the hottest girls are with the soft guys, which is not true in real life, right? In real life, it doesn't work that way, but they want to show that, right? They want to show that some beta male is the guy you're supposed to be. And that's leading to a big problem in the youth today, because the youth, by their nature, realize that's not who I am. And they're being given all these confusing messages. And that's why we have school shooters. We have a lot of this problem of a young kid who, especially let's say a young white kid, he's confused because he's told you can't be like this, you can't be like that, you can't have nationalism. They want to erase all these great things that made our society, that made us, work together in differences. And especially in the masculine realm, I think women and people don't understand. Men are the type of people, like, there's 3 of us in this room, we could fight each other and then drink coffee right after. That's just called being a man, right? We could actually say, hey man, like, I disagree with you. Okay, let's go and fight. And after that, even if you kick my ass, I'll respect it. I'm like, you know what? This guy broke my nose. He fucked me up. Yo, I respect him. Let's go for a coffee. But that is considered violence now, or it's considered, you can't even, you are basically a demon for being the very natural thing that's in you. And what that's derived of is just nature, testosterone, and things that biologically God equipped us with. And for some reason, when a man wants to talk about that, he's demonized. And I see it every day. I see it every single day. I see it in courts. I see it in the way humans are acting towards each other. And I was always noticing this stuff. I just never talked about it. And going through my tragedy or whatever, I don't want to call it even tragedy because I love what I went through. When I was in that jail cell not too long ago, I was like, I'm gonna take this, and I made a promise to God. I'm a man of faith, and that I don't care what happens. I will do this till I'm alive, and I will stick to that.
It's incredible. And that's something that I want to touch on. But I want to give people sort of a sense of how you got here. I mean, you went through quickly. I mean, there's such a history here of I was in sales, I was doing this, I was doing that. I started a company. I am sort of like the, for lack of a better term, general, right? Like you're the general, your business partner is like the president, right? So you're in this supporting role and you're actually happy with that. You've recognized that. And I want to hit that really, really in a focused way, because most men is this alpha versus beta dichotomy where it's like, unless you are like the number one, you're a pussy, right? And that's it. And there's no spread of the different types of male. And if you actually look, if you look it up, there's alpha, which is like the number one guy. There's something called beta male, but that's actually somebody who is in your position, like acting as a general, acting as somebody who's supporting the mission, acting as the person, maybe he has a vision and you're the one who's executing parts of it, but you still like play in this dynamic, and it's a very strong, powerful role. And it goes through like alpha, beta, delta, gamma. Like there's a ton of different types, right? And I mean, what made you start the business? What made you so motivated that you thought, I'm going to get out of sales, I'm going to get out of doing these different things and do something for myself now?
Do you want the whole origin story? Or you want me to just address this part? Because I can go in the whole origins of it.
Address whatever you want to address.
Okay. So I've never publicly spoken about the origin story of who I am and where did I come about, like where was this guy that I built this company, but I'll go to the origin story because I've never disclosed it before, and since I'm a guest here, I'll just go about it. I'll try to be as fast as possible, but hitting the main things. So I've been on my own since 17, 18 years of age. My dad, I was born, raised in Canada, like I was raised here when I was young, and then I went to Pakistan for 6 years, 7 years, 6.5, 7 years. And I came back to Canada in 2007.
Wow.
And I was the black sheep of the family. I was in a very working class family. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't like that my dad, who was a very hard worker, he worked extremely hard. He was in the pharmaceutical business. He worked literally, I didn't see him for years. Like he would leave at 7, come home at 9. Slaved himself for other companies. Sorry, Dad, but I tell you the same thing. And when he became old and fragile, they let him go like he was worthless, without anything. So for me, when I was being sold this as the leader of the house, I was the older brother, and I was like, seeing this, I'm like, I don't want to be that story for me. I would rather go on my own terms if I have to. So know that full accountability as a business owner. If you fail, it's your fault. It's nobody's fault. Doesn't matter the market, the economy, even though those things exist, doesn't matter, right?
Full accountability as a man, even.
Yeah,
really.
I just didn't want that for myself. And he was very depressed because of that, because his thing was he trained a lot of great people underneath him, but they had the balls to take the risk at some point and start their own companies, and they ended up in Rolls Royces, and my dad ended up with nothing.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? When I'm in school, like I think I had this self-awareness at like grade 6 or 7, I stopped studying, to be very honest with you. Like I never stressed about studies. And I have friends that'll tell you that, my childhood friends, a lot of them are in Canada, work jobs. They're like, yo, you know what? We used to think you're going to end up like a cleaner or a garbage guy or this guy, or that, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But they thought that they were sold by their parents, the middle class, that you have to study and that's going to make you a rich man or a smart man. Whereas I was like, what is the pendulum in physics class going to teach me about life? Right? And I always challenged that. And I was like, you know, this saying, the cliche, before you accept someone's life, before you accept someone's opinion, take a look at their lifestyle. And if their lifestyle is not the lifestyle you want, why would you do it? So when I looked at all my teachers' lifestyle, it was a regular car, a Honda, a Civic, or a Corolla, or a Camry. And education was a business. I went to private school where my dad was paying crazy money out of his monthly salary, which he shouldn't have done that to me. I feel like if I had to go back and talk to my dad, I'd be like, yo, kick me out of the school, put me in a regular school, because it's the same books anyways. Just because it gets the label of a private school, that doesn't mean that you're educated. Like, I want people to understand, just reading book smart doesn't make you educated. Like, this is a misconception in the past 200 years, I think, that just because you got a fancy degree or something makes you educated. Not true. Not true at all. It's what you do with that education and what implementation do you do. So when I was in school, I'm like, why don't they have a systemized way where if I like accounting, put me in all accounting courses? Why am I taking all these other BS physics and stuff that's not going to gear me towards anything?
Yeah.
And it was very advanced level stuff that you're teaching you, like Newton's law and all that. And then I figured that I was a C grade student anyways. Whether I studied or didn't study, I got C grades. So I never studied. And I had this dream that one day when I come back to Canada, because my dad told me you're going to go back to Canada, I was like, that is going to be my starting nemesis. Like, I'm going to start my life fresh.
Amazing.
So I landed in Canada, 2007, August 14th, which is Independence Day for Pakistan, which is weird how I came that day. And I promised my dad, I'm like, Dad, I'm going to become somebody and I'm going to finally say I'm proud of you, which he never publicly says. He says behind my back. But you know how dads, which is a great thing, by the way, keeps you grounded. So when I came to Canada, I just looked at everything. I was looking at who's driving Rolls Royces, who's driving Ferraris. So I was living with my brother, my twin brother. I have a twin brother. He already got admitted to university and I didn't. I was a bad sheep. I had to do a high school semester. So I was like, I would go whenever I see a Ferrari or any nice car. Back then, like you barely saw Ferraris like you see today, but you saw one, you're like,
Rare.
damn, right? Like in 08, 07, you didn't see that stuff. You didn't see Range Rovers. So anytime I saw a Range Rover or any nice car, like a big 7 Series, I would just wait outside the car and I would want to interview the guy who owns it. And I can tell you, most of them were entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Or like highly trained professions, and they were in a business realm. So let's say an accountant owned the accounting firm. He wasn't working for KPMG or something like that, right?
For sure not. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I got that message from all of them that, hey man, that's not the way to wealth, I'm like, okay, what do I do? Now the other problem is, especially for the young guy that's watching, when you're young, no one takes you seriously. You could have the biggest dreams. At least back then, there was no cell phone business. Like these kids today have so much options. There was no cell phone.
Yeah.
So my first entrepreneurial journey, I'll share about how it started. So my dad, he gave me a certain amount of money to live off in Canada. He paid my first month rent in a basement and the last month rent. I was living in Waterloo. And, you know, I was just living life. Like, I'm like, oh, whatever. And then I remember I logged into my bank account. I had like $60 left.
Oh, geez.
And I had 2 choices to make that day. One choice was I could call daddy. Daddy, can you send over like a couple $1,000 again? But if I did that, I would forever be a slave to my dad's king. He would be like, you know what? See, you failed. You didn't do anything. Blah, blah, blah. I would hear that forever. And I'm okay with hearing that. It's my dad. I love my dad. Whether he's right or wrong, he's my dad, right? I love him. That's another thing. Like people today are like, oh, my parents can't say anything to me, which is stupid. I'm like, are you the parent or he is a kid? Even that you can't say. You can't even enforce those boundaries that a parent has to say today, whatever my kids want and whatever they want to become, let them. This is like absurd to me, right? Like, why did there has to be chain of command in everything you do.
Absolutely.
Right?
As a father, absolutely.
In everything in life, there's always a chain of command. You obviously are here because you followed a chain of command, and then when it was your turn, it was your turn. But for some reason, the young generation kid is like, I can't be under somebody's thing. Like, I have to be the leader always. No, there's a time and place. So at 17, when that happened to me, I remember at night I was like, yo, what do I do? What do I do? I had this old Toshiba laptop. And I'm like, how do I make money? Like, you know, what do I do? Like, do I get a job? So I go start talking to people in school, right, that are my high school friends. And one of the guys that I knew, this Pakistani kid, his dad owned a butcher shop.
Cool.
So his dad owned this butcher shop. So I'm like, yo, his dad's gonna give me a job, okay? I have this expectation, this privilege expectation that I can go get a job at a butcher shop. How hard can that be? So I go to his dad's shop and I'm like, yo, bro, uncle, like, you know, I'm your friend's, I'm your son's friend, and I want a job. He's like, how what do you know about butchering? I'm like, nothing, but I'll learn. He's like, listen, I don't barely hire even qualified employees because I'm trying to save costs at this little butcher shop.
Yeah.
And then my friend's like, bro, just go home, call your dad, whatever. I'm like, nah, man. So I sit with him on a sidewalk. And I'm like, bro, like, what do I do? He's like, man, just go home. You're young. You're 17, bro. You don't need to go work. Like, there's a lot of load on you. I'm like, no, man, I have to do something. I'm in Canada, this land of opportunity. This is why we're here. And while we're talking, there was a van that's standing outside the butcher shop. Old Pontiac. Remember those Pontiac vans that used to exist? The big ones. They were before the Sienna or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
There's this Pontiac van. They don't make them anymore. I don't see them anywhere. This is back in 07. I'm like, yo, what does this van do? He's like, oh, this is the meat delivery van. It basically picks up meat. And it was empty, so there was no seats in the back. It was just an empty van with 2-seater in the front.
Yeah.
And this just picks up meat and it sits. I'm like, bro, we should make this van make money for us. He's like, bro, you don't even have a G1 yet. I didn't have a G1 yet. Like, I just came to Canada, right? Or I had a G1, I didn't have a G2. I don't know the exact facts, but something like that. I didn't have the G2, I know that for a fact. I had the learner's license, whatever they call it. And he didn't have one either. I'm like, bro, we need to make this van being running all day long to make money for us. He's like, bro, go home. Shut the fuck up. So I go home. And now if people that are watching, I date myself with this. People are so cool now with online shopping. There was no online shopping in our time. Guess what was the newest thing in 2007 when I was there? Kijiji.
Yeah.
Remember when Kijiji came out, bro? How big it was? Everybody in high school was selling stuff on it. So I'm like, yo, I heard about this thing called Kijiji. So I go on my old Toshiba laptop with like a shitty internet connection.
Yeah.
It takes like 2 minutes to load a page. So like kijiji.ca. And I go on the homepage. You know, if you go on the homepage, you see like a bunch of stuff being sold. So I saw like, you know, people selling small stuff, big stuff. And then I saw a bunch of furniture being sold as we're sitting here, right? Like furniture pieces.
Cool.
And they were being sold for high ticket, like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And I'm like, you know what, Muneeb? This is what you're going to do. You're going to be honest and you're going to just do something that you've never done and humble yourself. So I came up with a sales script. I didn't even know it was a sales script, but now looking back, you call it a sales pitch. I wrote it many times by my own hand. No chat GPT, nothing. And this sales pitch went along somewhere like this. Hi, I'm a new student that used to live in Canada, came back to Canada. I'm living in this basement, and I don't have any furniture, which I didn't have. And it would be great if you would donate this furniture piece to me. Or if you want it for a very reduced price, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to pay for that. And little did I have money in my pocket, and I'm saying this. And I wrote a big pitch, and I copy-pasted it and sent it to every ad that I saw that night. I did that for 2 hours. Copy, paste, manually, send it to the ad.
Take forever.
And then I slept at 2:30 or something like that. I think at 7 a.m. I started getting email responses from people. Some people, for the love of Jesus, take it.
Yeah, most people will be like that.
Right?
Yeah.
But some people were a-holes too. Oh, do you even buy your shirt, Packy? Do you even, like, some people were racist, they saw my name. Oh, why would I help you? Like, it was funny.
Yeah.
But I think out of like 200 emails, 5, 6 of them said, come and take it for free. So I called my buddy up in school. I'm like, yo, bro, look at these email responses. People are saying, come pick up this furniture. It's going for $2,000-3,000. We're going to take that van and pick it up. He's like, no, bro. No, what's wrong with you? I'm like, bro, if you believe me for one thing, just do me this one favor one day, and after I won't talk to you about it.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. Somehow I convinced him. Bro, we drove 7 hours all across Ontario. We went to Sarnia. Imagine we're high school students. The towns that people haven't been in. Sarnia, somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
This is like before Google Maps too. Like
there was the TomTom GPS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it would barely work. And he had one in that van somehow, luckily. So we drove all across Ontario and picked up 5 furniture pieces, sold it the next day for $7,000, $3,500 each in one day.
Amazing.
So if I had to tell you, the entrepreneurial bug was born that day. So, and there's a long story. I can go into more detail of how it went and what that furniture business ended up being. That's another story. So we made $7,000. I gave him $3,500 right there. Now his pocket's warm. He's like, bro, when are we doing this next? I'm like, bro, you didn't believe in me. What the right? So imagine some kid with $60 to have $3,500, right? You know, I made a lot of money and lost a lot of money, but I can still tell you that when I felt that $3,500 cash and those the brown bills, it was a whole different feeling than everything you make today.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the origin story. So guess what? Now me and him were secretly running this, if you want to call it scheme or whatever. Like, it wasn't no lie. We're just going out there and people are willing it themselves. And we were so stupid, we would download the same images from those ads and repost it on Kijiji. And then some people would swear and say, you robbed me, this, that. I'm like, I didn't rob you. I thought for the love of Jesus is free. I said, if you gave something for the love of Jesus, you shouldn't care what I do with it.
Yeah.
So some people are getting cheese, some people didn't, but it was hilarious. Then we're like, let's get smarter with this game. So then we actually had this guy who coded us in school, who was a nerd. He coded us a proper sales pitch that would go on every single day. And this was our business for 2 years. Buddy, we had so much cash in our pockets for years. Like, people thought I was a drug dealer. I had always brown bills in my pockets. And then it gets messed up because what happens is 2 years of us hustling this. So that kid goes to university. I didn't. I'm like, yo, I don't want to really take this. I went to college and whatever. And I'm like, whatever. We started letting peer pressuring affecting us because we're young kids. I'm like 19, 20 now.
Yeah.
And you know, people call us, you're just thugs. You're just low-level thugs. You guys are you don't have a business. This is just some like hustle that you guys have going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we let that affect us because it would affect you because you're like, oh, like, are they right? Like, this is not a business. So then I got into the security business. Dumbest mistake ever. I'm like, let's make something official, like a company. And we open up this security company with overhead and all these problems and all employees now and not even enough margin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was stuck in that business for 5 years, in the security business, and I didn't like it. And I'm like, I used to pray to God every day, get me out of this. And then eventually I got out. But, don't let people define what you're doing for some status to please these people is my thing. Because no one really gives a shit. Right?
Yeah.
I let go of a good hustle. At one point, the hustle was so good that we had a warehouse where we were buying and selling this furniture for cheap. Like we would always show up like, look, we knew furniture by that point.
Mm-hmm.
We'd pick up, $4,000 pieces that people just need to get rid of, but they didn't have anybody to come and dismantle it. And we would go do the dismantling work and sell it for $5,000.
Yeah.
Right? And there was no overhead, real overhead. Guess what the warehouse was? The back of the meat shop.
Perfect.
Right? So we were just paying the dad a little bit of cash and we were running this thing. And what's crazy is that guy's an entrepreneur now too. He took his dad's meat store to a whole different level. He has like online deliveries and whatnot. But that was the bug. The bug was born that day, if you had to ask me.
Amazing.
That was the first hustle.
It's incredible. I mean, $60.
Yeah.
I mean, what was going on in your head? I mean, other than like, what am I going to do?
You want the honest truth?
Like, yeah. What was going on in your head to
Survival was the honest truth. Like there was no, like somebody says like, what a great story. Like I've shared this story, not online, but friends that know and some close people that know. They're like, yo, you were such an entrepreneur. I'm like, no, I wasn't. I didn't even know what entrepreneur was. I didn't even know what that meant. I just, at that moment, it was a proving thing that I can't go to my dad and become a beggar. What will he say? And it was just about, hey, I have to survive. I didn't know it was going to work. I didn't know anything. I just did I just saw a van sitting and it's like Newton, the apple fell from the tree. It's like, why is this van sitting? It should be running. It shouldn't be sitting. It shouldn't just do one meat delivery and sit all day.
Yeah.
That was my thinking. I'm like, we could do something. Little did we know it became a lifestyle for us. Like that paid my bills. That bought me my first car. That bought me everything. Right?
I mean, that's a lot of money to turn over as a young kid. And it's like, it all comes from, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it sounds like an ego, and in a healthy way. It's saying like, I'm too proud of myself to go back and beg for more from my father because I know what that means, right? And I recognize that I need to do something really, really significant to change my life, like right now, because it's almost at the point where I have to do that.
Yeah.
And that's a healthy ego. Like that's a healthy drive. It's not saying like, look at me, look at how like big and strong I am. It's just going, I'm too proud of myself to go back and beg to somebody else. I need to make something of myself. So I have the respect of my family, the respect of my friends, the respect of my father, et cetera, right?
But it's also about what's the other alternative? Because no one cares, right? Mm-hmm. Like let's talk even about like a couple of years ago. So when my first divorce started just recently, in the worst time of my life where, I'm...
Don't say first. It sounds like you'll have a second.
No, but let's say my divorce that just happened in one of the worst times of my life because like business has been up and down and, business is always up and down. And I'm very focused in my business and the divorce started and all this money in legal fees and now criminal charges and paying a criminal lawyer, family lawyer. You know how these people are. They bill like crazy, right?
Of course.
And even now, like a guy who's seen a lot, who's lost millions before. I've lost millions, right, in business and I'm okay with that. Even right now, it wasn't an ego thing. I made a prayer to God. I'm like, God, I know I'm going to get through this. Just the only thing I want is make sure that I don't have to ask anybody for any help in this process. Not a single dollar. Maybe that's ego, but that's also humility because I don't like to be indebted to anybody. That's one of my habits.
Yeah.
I don't have loans from banks either. I don't own a house still. I still rent. I don't like to be in debt to anybody. I don't buy cars on loans, anything like that. Everything I buy is cash. I just don't like that someone can say, anybody that's in my friend circle, that, yo, Muneeb owes me this. And there's people that owe me a lot of money. That's when I see them, they're just like, oh, why are you even coming shaking my hand? I owe you money. I'm like, that's you that did that to me. But I gave you the money, so it's all good. There's tons of people that owe me money. I don't want to even go in the amounts. There's a lot of money that's owed to me. But I don't ever talk about it. But me, as a man, I can't live like that I owed somebody dollars. Just not, that's maybe an ego thing, or maybe it's a humility thing, but even like, this is 2 years ago, I made this prayer to God that God, you're going to put me through these tests. I already know. I just want to make sure that I get through this on my own. Whereas other people that I can't speak of, or the opposing side, they take their mother's money or father's money, like that. To me, that's a very, how do I say it? Unattractive masculine trait even, or even a trait in general. I know some guys that took their mother's money for a down payment on a house. and for the down payment of the marital home that he's going to live with his wife for. Personally, I'm not okay with that. That's okay if that's what his belief is. Personally, I don't think you should do that to any. I think you could have a small cottage or a small thing, but if it's yours, it's yours.
Yeah.
That's the way I live, right? Like, it's mine. I did it. I went through the struggle, because then it's more fruitful too, right? When you did the struggle, no one handed you anything. Like, even people ask me, like, why don't you play lottery? I'm like, I don't like free money. Like, I don't play lottery. I don't play anything. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the cost of free.
Lottery's insane.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel sorry for these people when I'm at a gas station and when you're at a gas station, you have to wait. Like, there's a line racking up and the guy's just still like playing lotto. To me, it's like, it's a mindset that you are okay with free handouts. I don't like anything for free. And I never take, like, I don't even take free coffee from anybody or anything like that. I always feel like skeptical. I'm like, you get what I mean, right? I think for me, it's like, I know a guy like you that's accomplished too. Like, I'm sure you can relate with what I'm saying. Like, this concept of free handouts, like just free anything. It's like, even from your parents, like, there should come a point where a man or a woman has to do his own thing or her thing. It can't be like, I need help. Like, I feel embarrassed. Help in a way, if it's not a cost like financial, that's one thing. But financial help, I can't take. That's just me.
I think it's especially, I mean, I don't know. Are you aware that there's something called lottery syndrome?
I don't know about it, no.
Okay. So lottery syndrome happens with people who win the lottery, okay? And it's a legitimate, like, psychiatric, psychological phenomenon. And what happens is that they end up blowing, like, most of the money. But when they actually win the lottery, it comes with, like, severe depression, severe anxiety, all of these different, like, stressors. And they become really psychologically unbalanced. And I think the reason is because it's not really earned. And there's no, like, struggle attached to this money. So it can freely go because they got it for free.
Yeah.
And it is hugely detrimental to people who win the lottery. It'd be similar to, like, imposter syndrome or something like that, where they just feel empty because there's no journey attached to it. It's like, look at all this big bag of money, but I don't feel different. And it's because you haven't done anything.
Yeah.
It just came down to luck.
Yeah, I wouldn't even accept it. Let's say tomorrow if somebody says you won the lottery, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to donate the money, because I know, like, it's not something that I like for my own self, for my legacy as well too. Like, I care about my legacy a lot. I care about, like, when you look back 20 years, you could say, hey man, like, I did this, I lost, I made. It's a journey of a man. It's interesting. It's not some boring life. Like, I love the story of Donald Trump, for example. Like, people always take shots at him. Oh, like, he lost this. I'm like, bro, that's business, bro. Like, how many businesses have you done? You lose money, right? Look at where he is today. Yeah. Twice U.S. president, 4 divorces or whatever, and still has his kids with him. Yeah. And his kids love him.
His kids love him.
They love him.
It's like, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I'm busy and I'm doing a lot of things, and I have my kids, like, they're just down the road here. And I got to be honest, like, it's hard as a father to balance all this stuff. It's hard to, like, cut out time and actually invest in this time and be present. It's not easy. It's not easy. And a lot of fathers know this because they have to do it. And it's not something that's spoken of really frequently, where it's like, you have such high expectations placed on you. And I'm pro high expectations. I'm great with that. But I think for a lot of guys going through the struggle, especially new dads, new fathers, trying to figure out how to balance all this stuff, the truth is hard to balance. It's not easy to do this stuff, and it's not easy to be there and be fully present with your children, because those interactions aren't just a conversation. It's, how do I say something to you in a way that's going to click, that's going to drive the outcome that I want for you, right? So you're talking about being forced into a career stream, like trying to force your kids to do this, force your kids to do that. I'm against that, but I want them to be successful. I want them to be entrepreneurs. I want them to be motivated, hardworking, go-getters that are going to take what I have, take what I give them, and stand on my fucking shoulders. Because anything less than that is worthless. And that's my job. It's to give them that motivation and that passion and that drive, the wisdom to do the right thing at the right time. And God, I hope I can get that. But sometimes it's really difficult.
Yeah. But a guy like you who says this, who has these boundaries and expectations today, if you tell people or this mainstream society, they'll call you toxic for that. Like, it's crazy how like a man can't even be a man in his own house. Like, this is one of the things I talk about today is like, you can't even be a man in your own house today, which is the craziest thing with these expectations.
I have a thing about that. And I say, if you have a man cave, you're not a man, you're actually a golden doodle. Because a man cave is like the dog crate for men, where men get banished to as like their only zone of safety, like a dog. You know what I mean? And you're allowed to go there. It's okay to go there. Because I control the rest of the house. You as the man, you can have the TV in the basement. You can have like your sports memorabilia and shit. And you can go down there, do whatever the fuck you want to do. And it's fine. But you're not allowed to go out. You're not allowed to be a man. You're not allowed to socialize. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that without ramifications, right? And it's hard. But these are the guys that need to step up. And I've dealt with millionaires that have this. I've dealt with multimillionaires.
They have it more than the average person does.
Yeah. And they have a man cave. And I'm like, you are a great white shark in the business world. Nobody is coming near you. And you are like ruthless apex predator. You get home and it's like, woof, woof, puppy dog. It's crazy. And this is why they end up getting divorced. And it's like, guys, you have to be able to be a man at home. You have to be able to be a leader. And that doesn't mean being an ass, but it does mean standing up for yourself. It does mean setting the tone. It does mean, driving the ship, whatever you want to call it, and making sure that you have a positive, mutually beneficial relationship where your wife loves you. Like, that's the name of the game.
For me, it's also like the cost of regret, right? Like, so I can tell you, like when I was like 17, 18, another advice for young men, just to talk about the story. I never associated with friends my age. I was like people older than me. So when I was 17, 18, all my friends were 35-year-old and 40-year-olds, mid-40s. Because I was like, what is a 19-year-old going to teach me? Smoke weed? I don't need to do this. I don't want to drink alcohol. I never touched it, never did it. So these men I used to talk to, and they were my age that I'm right now, 35. And they were guys that had the life going for them, the businesses and all that. And I would ask them some deep questions like, how are you in this unhealthy marriage? How do you just like tolerate this? And a lot of the weak answers would be like this: yo, bro, we just do it because of society. And, we have to do that because one day our kids are going to stay with us till they're 18 and stuff. Okay, cool. I get it. A man sold his masculinity in the pretense for his kids and sacrificing all of that. But he didn't get respect from that woman. He never got sex from that woman. Let's talk about that. Most of these guys were in sexless marriages for these years. Guess what? Those guys are my biggest viewers today. So some of those uncles, I call them, they love what I'm doing. They're saying, man, because they did everything the right way in the American dream. They have houses paid off, cars paid off, businesses paid off, and they have such a big book of regret. You know why? Because those kids left them today.
Of course.
They're going to go do their own thing, and they don't even respect them. And now they're still stuck with that girl or that woman now that they tolerated and sold their manhood, sold the very basic traits that made them, and now it's just him and her left. And guess what? She still threatens him to say, if you do anything, I will destroy you, I will take everything in half, and all this other stuff.
Of course, because that's what she's been allowed to do.
And that is one of the biggest drivers of what I do. And I don't have all the answers. I'm in this journey myself. Let me make that very clear. But why have we come to a society like this where a man has sold his manhood? And there's tons of those guys. We call them uncles. There's tons. And they are the ones, like, they're customers of mine. They tell me, it's like, what you're doing is very important. Don't stop. Because us, the generation above you, sold our masculinity for this exact cause, that I'm going to stay with my kids and this and that. And I'm going to be a leader and this, that. And at the end, still got screwed over. Some of their kids completely left their religion. Like, for example, we're Muslim people, right? For us, holding on to religion is very important, right? Holding on to your faith is like, you could kill us. Then some of these kids now, because they were raised Western, they're not even anything. They're atheist kids. And they're depressed, these guys. Like, I tried everything. And the way I want to structure my life, or the way it should be, is I believe, even if you go based on the teachings of any religion, you have to give your best shot. The result is not in your hand. But you have to do your best, knowing you're not sacrificing your very basic nature of manhood, leadership, and all that. Right? Yeah. So for example, let's say I have a daughter. Right? My goal is with the limited resources I have today, with whatever I'm going to get in custody or whatnot, I'm going to try my best to make sure she ends up becoming a good human being. If she doesn't, I'm not going to take the blame for it because I never sold myself or my masculinity in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The result I never focus on in anything I do in life, by the way. Even, my ex's lawyer one time emailed me and I said, listen, I'm going to come and fight, but I don't, listen, I'm the type of guy, I don't worry about the result. I'll go 10 hands in. The result is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
But the process, did you sell yourself in the process? Same thing in business. The path to success is, there's many ways to it. Did you keep yourself with integrity, doing the right thing over and over? And at the end, when you landed, how did you get there? So for example, in the basement business, when I started with my partner years ago, the former employers that I used to know and the people in the industry, they said, you guys will be bankrupt in 2 years. Today, both of those guys aren't bankrupt. They were the biggest guys.
Uh-huh.
Right? And it's not even about that, but I didn't believe in their vision. It was that because they weren't focused on the integral fundamentals, right? And everything is about fundamentals. How you do anything is how you do everything. Everything is about fundamentally, and it's hard. Sometimes you have a battle with your own mind. Like in recent terms in business, when business went down, I still kept all my employees.
Mm-hmm.
I could have fired them. I could have done that if I was a shark businessman to save money. No, I kept everybody. You know why? Because I understand one thing. I betted on the fact that everybody else will quit in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, let's say I lose money for 2 years, it's okay. But at the end of the day, after 2 years, I have a business to come to, and then we'll be back up. Versus most of those guys, they quit. Now they have nothing. Some of them are mechanics. Some of them are working jobs again. So the real entrepreneurship is willing to burn everything in the ground till the last breath.
That's
You get what I'm saying? You have to be willing to dance in the building alone, burning, knowing it's burning, and smile. I'm going to go down like a man.
That's you just dismissed something really important, and you dismissed it as not sharp business behavior, but really it's the desire to outlast your competition.
100%.
And that is extremely, extremely difficult to do. And you have to be laser focused on that. And for people watching, I mean, what Muneeb is saying is this. He's keeping his employees knowing that the business is going to get better eventually. But while he's waiting and paying these employees, maybe he's got 25% of the market share now. I don't know what the number is. But all these other businesses are going to be gone, which means he's going to have like 50, 60, 70% of the market share
Correct.
down the road. So it's going to be way busier. It's going to be way more hectic. And he knows because he's smart. He needs these staff. He needs these good people that he's worked with before to continue working for him, which is why he's keeping them on payroll now.
Also, on top of that, it's responsibility. So I believe God puts certain people in certain places because he understands that he will use them for a lot of good. Mm-hmm. I believe that wholeheartedly, right? And this is why I also believe not everybody should be an entrepreneur, and it won't be good for the ecosystem. Let's get that straight. Somebody's got to make the Tim Hortons in the morning. Somebody's got to do the other stuff. It's important for society to function. Because if everybody's an entrepreneur, then who's the doctor? We're fucked, right? We're fucked. But to make this thing like this is some sexy thing and the result is watches and all this stuff that we enjoy, no, man. Like there's a lot of dark things that we go through to finally get here. No one was there when the lights were about to be turned off. No one was there when the rent was due. No one was there when payroll's due tomorrow and it's 100K and you only have 20K in the bank account and you have to fork out money from your own personal savings and put it on the line to not know if you're going to see them again, right? I've been through that in this past 2-3 years, right? And man, it grew me even to another beast because me and my partner, we had a conversation in 2022 when the market was getting crazy, when the interest rates started going up. My partner looked at me, and I love this guy. Like, he's been with me through thick and thin. His name's Ryan Desai. I don't know if I give him enough credit, but he looked at me and said, "Are you willing to go till the end?" I'm like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "You know that everybody else is going to be suffering the same way that we are, but we just can't quit. Are you willing to make sure that are you okay that if we go down to zero and we have to start from there, are you okay?" I'm like, "Let's go." And that's the bet that we hedged on, that everybody else will quit. And 90% of our industry quit. It's only 3 other guys left that are doing it. And they're also like us a little bit. So they're also like willing to stay. Even though some of them, I don't want to talk, they sacrifice the quality of the product. I never sacrificed the quality. The product is the same still. The process is the same. The marketing is the same. Actually, the marketing went up. We're spending more to acquire a customer right now. But I like that because, and I think I got built that way because of my father, and this is why I love boxing, because boxing is not about what happens in the first 3 rounds or the first 6 rounds. It's a 12-round fight, and you get to see people's will break. That's what I love about boxing the most is you get to see who has how much will in them.
Mm-hmm.
And anything in life, I love sports that relate to that sentiment, because boxing is the ultimate form of that. Right?
It's a very distilled way to assess somebody's mentality.
Yeah.
Like,
I love to see
truly.
people's will break. Like when I see that, man, like your will broke. And I sometimes, I shouldn't do it, but sometimes I go to like people that, like my friends, and they're in businesses and they're like, I'm going to go quit and do something. I'm like, yo, that's it? That was your dream? That's it? You're going to put entrepreneurship upside down and go get a job now? Right? Like, for example, my ex-business partner, me and him, before this, I was with him. And great guy. One day he's like, oh, when business was good, he's like, I don't think I need you. And I'm like, oh, you're going to say that? I'm like, okay.
Bye.
So I gave him the whole company. I didn't even take $1 from it. He's like, oh, I'll buy you out. I'm like, no, take it. He's like, why? I'm like, because I don't believe in your vision. If you're this low, I'm like, I'll give you 2 years, you'll be gone. He's like, nah, bro, you'll be gone. I'm like, okay, we'll see. 2 years in, that guy's a mechanic right now. Right? Sad. Because I knew that your purpose should be so much more greater in what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Most guys that do business is to buy material wealth, which is the most, I don't know how to say it, the most dumbest thing you could do.
Literally waste. I say that with a bunch of material things around here, but
there's time and place for it, right?
Yeah.
But for example, I know the Russian community. I have a lot of Russian friends. You know how Russian people work? And it's no knock to them. This is an Eastern European thing, like Russian Ukrainians. They'll work every month so hard so that they could buy their wife a new handbag. And she's going to divorce them anyways because that's all they can provide.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I know this. I dated some of those women that after them, they came to me and I didn't buy them a single handbag. And these Russian men would ask me, how are you with her with just like basic Swiss chalet dinners? I'm like, because it's about you setting those expectations. I never set those expectations. They came from me for the real deal. You were just trying to please, and they went nuts, gray hair or bald and stressed and everything just because of that. And they're still doing the same with the new girl.
Yeah.
It's all material possession. I need the new Mercedes. I need the AMG. I'm like, that's not why you do business, bro. You need a reserve account for bad times, right? Like, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say because, you know, I'm still in a
Well, you're in a,
thing with my,
you're
with
in
my
a
thing.
divorce, so you want to make sure that
you
don't
So I'll
say
just say
anything
this:
stupid, so.
we had a reserve account that went down to 0, and it was 7 figures, but it was there for a reason. It was there that we anticipated that if the market has, we're going to need this for payroll and all this shit, right? And that's why now my companies are worth negative something, which is good for me in my case. But every entrepreneur has a journey of ups and downs, and the question is, 20, 30 years from now, at the end of it, can you say that you were here, just like a Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Right? Like people in his career, when he was going through his bankruptcy, the New York Times reporting, who's laughing right now? You know, I don't care what is a hater. Donald Trump's life is a great example of a true American entrepreneur going through all the divorces. Every time his ex-wife took half of his money and whatever, and he still came out, became the U.S. president twice. That is a story of what I think that we need to promote, that this is not his personal character, but this is the life of a man.
Yeah.
The life of a man should be embracing this. And there's nothing wrong with that. For some reason, if you say to the average person on the street today, the life of Donald Trump, they're not inspired by it. They're like, he's a toxic, this, that, because they look at his personal shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually sat down with the kid and said, look at this guy. He lost billions, made billions, lost it again, divorces, this, that. Today he's standing as a U.S. president, and all his kids are with him. Doesn't matter about his policy. I don't care about his policy. It could be complete garbage, but he still got it. And that's what you have to look for, is the good in somebody. And I learned a lot from his books, from his mindset.
His books are great. I read them as a kid.
Great books, right? Like, you don't have to love someone's policy, but why are we so construed to like not admire that masculine journey is my thing. Like,
I think
whenever,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
We have this cultural identity of trying to find flaws, and it's easier to find flaws. It's easier to be critical and critique people and be just nasty. And we have this idea, for whatever reason, that if we like someone, we have to agree with 100% of them. And I mean, you brought up Jordan Peterson earlier too, and it's like Jordan Peterson has a good message.
Yeah.
Generally. Now, if you were to apply 100% of Jordan Peterson's thoughts, minds, whatever, what is the outcome? The outcome is getting addicted to benzos and going into a coma in Russia and all this other kind of stuff. He's come back and he's doing okay now and stuff like that. But you have to recognize that there are flaws.
Yeah.
There are flaws. And that's okay. It doesn't mean take your Jordan Peterson book and throw it out because the book is, I think he has two. I read the first one. It's good. But you have to recognize that maybe not everything is 100% written for you. Maybe you have to translate it into a way that it works for you. And the same goes of anybody out there providing an opinion. Me too, by the way. And you, I'm sure.
Me and you don't agree on a lot of things. We had our off-camera conversations. We don't agree with everything, but we have similar interests. And we're still on this journey learning. And that's okay to be wrong. But you got to stand for something.
Well, it's the discussion. The discussion, I learn things, you learn things. We take away something. That's having a respectful discussion. But for guys watching this, you can't come into any sort of discussion with anybody, or you can't look at somebody online on the internet and say, I have to agree with 100%. I have to do everything this person is telling me to do. Because sometimes that information, that idea is wrong. Or maybe it's not wrong, but it doesn't work for you. Not everybody can be Jordan Peterson. Not everybody can be Andrew Tate. Not everybody can be me. Not 100%. Everybody can be you. You got to make it work for yourself.
And even the religion aspect, I'll even say this, in our religion, in Islam, our prophet said to find common ground with the people of the book. So it was always said, even in our texts, in the hadith, and even in Islamic history, when we were rulers, to live a society, find common ground with the Christians and the Jews. You're not going to agree with everything they say, but now everybody's on their side. I'm a Christian and I'm going to be against this. And now it's getting all exposed that none of them get along. Okay, why can't we find common ground on things we do get along? Hey man, you can have your church and we can have our mosque, and you can go down to church and we can go to our mosque, and you can celebrate Christmas and we can celebrate Eid. And we don't have to agree with your beliefs, but we have to be respectful and we find that common ground. But today, it's just about right versus left versus right. And most of these people, I can tell you right now, that do this, they don't stand for shit. That's the reality of it. Most of these, anybody I speak to, leftist or whatever guy claims, he barely pays his bills. He barely gets up in the morning at 5 a.m. and does something about his life, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're doing something, then I let you have an opinion. Like if you're constantly finding something, okay, you know what, the guy's doing something. Most of these guys are watching Netflix or TV and talking shit, right?
That's true.
That's the reality. Most of these people that say like that, they just live average Joe lives, but for some reason their opinion is so like brash and it's like the word of God almost, right? Like, and no, they can't be wrong, and the other guy's completely evil, right? Like it's a great example, like this Charlie Kirk guy, right? I agree with a lot of this stuff. I don't agree with a lot of his stuff. I disagree with some of his stuff.
That's fine.
And that's fine. And I made a take on that. And then you should see some of these guys on the comments, like just blasting. Oh, from both sides, by the way. He was completely wrong. Oh, you are this. You don't understand. That's what they want you to do. Like, bro, this is the problem. You guys are the problem. The puppet masters are laughing. Right? When you read the comments on that post, I'm like, and I'm being nice with the one of the guy who's going against me. I'm like, listen, man, we're friends first. So I don't know why you're affecting your friendship with me publicly. And he's trying to go after my personal character
of course.
And I never went back at it just to show him like, listen, man, that's okay. That's your opinion, bro. But I still, if you ever want to you have my phone number. I think you should call me and have this discussion, not on Instagram, because you clearly know me as a friend. It's just hilarious how people want to go attack on someone else's platform. And this, my dad always said, you don't have to destroy other buildings to put your building up. You could just put your building up.
Yeah.
But I think that today this notion is out there that you have to destroy somebody else's building and put your building up. And most of these people never even put a building up. They just want to destroy your building.
That's the
truth. You know
truth.
what I'm saying? They just want to destroy your building. I'm sure you do. You came out of this. I'm sure you probably had a lot of hate from people. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, Ryan? Why do you need to do all this? I'm sure you get that from family, from friends, from everybody. I'm sure.
You hear it.
You know what I'm saying? Why are you doing this? Right? Ryan, why do you need to do this? People tell me, yo, Muneeb, just mind your business. You have a business. You're going to oppose some people. Why are you doing this? I'm doing this for a really big cause that I believe in. I don't have to. I know who I am. I know I'm a masculine man with boundaries. I don't have to prove that. I don't have to measure my dick or anything like that. But I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for society. I'm doing this for the next generation of kids and boys that are going to grow up. I don't want them to become like useless on drugs, on opioids. There's a big drug crisis no one's talking about, man. Like, look at our society here. Drugs.
Nobody
Look at how many of these druggies. Like I went with when I went to court for my criminal thing, I felt so bad. I told my brother too. I'm like, you know, I understand the white kid who's frustrated. I genuinely understand that he's going to be maybe, you know, completely rationalized and he's going to become this extremist because he's seeing a lot of their kids doing all this drugs and stuff. And he's like, yo, this is not we built this society. This was our country. I understand that. I understand that notion. Being a brown man, I'm okay with that. Like whenever I deal with a racist guy, I'm really calm with him. I'm like, bro, I get you. Most of it is because they just see, like, the concerned white people are seeing their society being strategically depleted by other really evil white people. Let's just put it this way, like the people that run, you know, these states. And now we have this upbringing and uprising, but they don't have answers, and they end up doing drugs. Look at how much drugs are out there right now in the streets. Look at any downtown. Go to Milton. Go any downtown right now. There's homeless camps everywhere. There's needles. My boxing gym is in downtown Toronto in Queen and Spadina.
Oh, wow.
But right there, there's like just when I park in that parking lot, I have to like watch my step. Which needle am I going to step on to get to my boxing gym?
Yeah.
Right? And no one cares. No one really gives a shit about them. I actually do. I'm like, yo, these people need help. These are all Canadian people. Some of them have stories. Some of them were legit people, and now this is big drug epidemic, and it's gone crazy. I think in the past 2-3 years.
I mean, people are in complete despair. Complete despair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, I love the punches and prayers thing that you have built. Is you have every reason to feel sad.
Mm-hmm.
You have every reason to feel stressed and anxious and uncertain and challenged. This is the biggest challenge that you've probably had in your life, and you've had a lot. And it's emotional because you have a child involved, you have your past relationship, you have family dynamics, like any divorce. Like, and this is something that I coach guys on too. And it's like, you have these emotions. It's totally normal. Like, this is the expectation, and they're going to go up and down. They're going to fluctuate. Sometimes you feel good. Sometimes you're going to remember and not feel so good. And I was talking to somebody who's sort of, this person's a psychologist. And I was talking to her about the psychology of emotions, like recently. This was a few weeks ago. And she gave me this fascinating thought, which was, like, she just asked me, what's the point of emotions? I'm like,
that's a good question.
Yeah. Like, she's like, survival. I'm like, okay, tell me more. She's like, when you are a kid, you develop your emotions up until about 5. Everything after 5, you're learning how to control your emotions. Your logic only kicks in when you're 8. That's when you start to develop logic as a child. Okay. So the point of emotions is that it's the fast first response to something happening. So recognizing that you're sad or upset or anxious or stressed or happy or whatever the case may be, it's driving an action. And the logic end is what connects those dots. So she's like, with divorcing people, you have to realize that they're operating on emotion. So that means that you need to recognize what it is and then point to them and say, hey, why are you angry? And the way that she phrases it is, goes, what's not fair? Because fairness comes from a lack of fairness is what drives anger.
Yeah.
Because you feel wronged.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit. I never thought about it that way. And then the next question is, how do we make it more fair? And she's like, you can do this with your kids. You can do this with family members, friends, business, everywhere. Dealing with divorcing clients, it's like, what's not fair? Why are you sad? How do we make this result better for you? And I went, oh, I now look at emotions and logic completely differently. Because as guys, we're thought, just like suppress them and put them down. And I'm not about that. I want to make sure that I
100%
work with emotions. But the question is always how. And then this little connection that she made for me, I went, oh shit, this is really valuable information for anybody. This realization that emotions drive a logical response, that it's your first response for survival, was really prescient. And this is what Punches and Prayers, I think, this is what you're doing, is dealing with men who are going through really emotional states, and you're teaching them how to manage, recognize what that fucking emotion is.
The first thing is recognizing.
Yeah. And then how do you deal with that?
So great. I love how you brought this part up. It's something that I'm going to reflect a lot on. My initial reason to do all of this, and it's not easy to vulnerably put your story out there for people to know, but I did it to show that it's okay. My first thing was, for most men, they feel when they're going through this, including myself, that this is just me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that this is the reality of what happens in this shit, right? So my first thing, the reason I did this for, is to say, hey man, when a guy calls me, I'm like, yo, it's okay. We're all deadbeats. Like I said that too. So essentially, my whole thing was, we need to normalize it first, the conversation, because a lot of guys that even now, they have so much shame when this happens to them. The shame kills them. And they end up making mistakes then. And my first thing is before you can attack this situation you're in, whether it's divorce, custody, whatever, you have to be in the right framework.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in that jail cell, I was like, okay, you know what? I want to just see what the market's like. And anything, you get a sample. So I made this boxing studio in my basement, not in the studio that you were in, but there was a house before that I was in. I made this entire boxing studio because I'm a boxer. I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a lot of divorced men and people that are going through separation or just bad relationships. And I just want to hear them, and I'm going to give them free boxing sessions.
Very cool.
Just to get feedback. There was no podcast or anything that started. This was the first time I went to jail on the first charge.
This is false charge.
Yeah.
Dismissed.
First, yeah. So I go in. I'm in this jail cell. I'm like, okay, you know what? No problem. And then all sorts of people just started coming to me through word of mouth. And I was like giving them the gift of boxing. So I bought extra hand wraps and a set of sample gloves, like just amateur gloves. And it's like, try boxing in this process. You're going to feel good. You're going to get your juices going. And then just talk to me. And I realized a lot of these men are going through the same things. I had no intention of doing a podcast or anything. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I just want to learn for my own sake too, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to be honest. I want to be honest. It's as for other people, for my own reasons too, so I can learn what's happening in the market. And I saw that I felt like all of our exes are the same. We're all deadbeats, all the same messaging, right? Every man, no one cares. Like, you could be 30 years. There's crazy stories, right? Guys that were married for 30 years, gave a wife everything after 30 years. She still called the cops and told the kids to do this. So it's like, it wasn't like a time frame thing. It was just the same pattern that was happening. Mm-hmm. And because, like you said earlier, that they're enabled to. And the system enables them or weaponizes it. So it became normal then. Then I went in for this breach charge that happened at my daughter's exchange, which I never did anything. And my dad would come with me. And what really pissed me off is that my dad, you could do something to me personally, but when you involve my dad or family, buddy, like now it's a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. Now you've made it to a whole different thing. My dad would leave his hospital, he's a heart patient, to come and facilitate these exchanges. And these people didn't take any protocols. They would come near me themselves and then call the cops and said, I came near them. And the officer that arrested me was a guy that was in the force 3 months only. So I could Google his name, shows up. His graduation was 3 months before that incident. So I was like, this is messed up. And then I called the staff sergeant. He said that the staff sergeant goes, yeah, I'll rescind these charges. But he forgot to tell his detective. So I get arrested in the system. And then the detective's like, listen, don't say anything. I know we have to pick you up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, what the hell? I actually have a LECA complaint right now with the Guelph Regional Police Service. I'm in back and forth with them. So they were trying to resolve a matter. I'm like, yo, you got to pay me for my time. And this was a bullshit charge. So there's a thing called Law Enforcement Complaint Agency. A lot of people don't know about this. Mm-hmm. If you get falsely arrested or whatever, you could actually go to them, and they're like the police of the police.
Great.
So there's even resources out there. Yeah. So a lot of guys, if they ever went through false charges like that, they should always make a LECA complaint, mm-hmm. especially because later when it gets dropped in court, LECA will activate on it. So when I first made the complaint, they said, oh, well, your matter is still in court. We're not going to do this until court gets withdrawn. So in court, when it got withdrawn, now they've activated the complaint, and now I'm actually dealing with Guelph Regional Police. So anyway, so when I went in the next time, then I'm like, yo, what does God want me to do? Okay, I did this one thing. And I never wanted to come on camera. Like, when I was a business success and all that, people always say, you should talk about this, like, business stuff. I don't want to be the next Gary Vee or the next Grant Cardone. I just didn't want to do that. The same message, you are the average of the 5 or this. I don't want to do that. Right? Mm-hmm. I just didn't want to do that. Like, it's too repetitive. It's been done. And I was like, you know what? You should start a podcast and a course and go on this journey to help men. Because I'm a man I'm a very purposeful man. Anything I do, it's intentional purpose. It's done. I don't just wake up and start my day with no intention. Every single day I do, it's like I work my ass off. So before I sleep, I know that I did my best in every realm of my life, whether it's my gym, whether it's boxing, everything. And so while I was in that jail cell, I was punching the concrete walls, right? Just to keep warmed up because it's so cold in those holding cells. I'm doing push-ups and punching. I'm like, what am I going to call this thing? I'm like, well, you're a man of faith and you love boxing, punches and prayers. And that's how this was born into something. And I didn't know anything about cameras, just like you. I just started. And today we know a lot more about all this stuff. And yeah, I'm on my journey. I'm on my journey to help men positively. And I can tell you right now, Ryan, like I'm the type of guy, you'll be watching me. I will do this till I die. So if you don't see any more, it's because I'm dead.
I hope that's
I'm
not
that
the
guy.
case. Yeah.
I'm literally that guy. They say like till you go to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love movies that show that too. Like if you remember that movie where it was, I think, Taken or whatever, was it Idris Elba?
Yeah,
Chris
no,
Brown?
it was Liam Neeson. It was Taken,
Yes.
yeah.
And there was another one. There's another one where there's shooters, the Idris Elba and Chris Brown, when there's a scene where Chris Brown or whatever are behind a sofa and they're being shot by cops and they're the only ones left behind that sofa, and then they look at each other like, okay, let's go shooting. We're going to die anyways now, or we're going to go in jail. Let's see how many cops we can just kill.
Yeah.
So they get up and they start shooting. I'm that guy. I've always been that guy. I like to, you know, when you play a game, for example, let's say baseball, or a game where you're completely losing. You know, some people just give up. Let's just do the game. I'm like, no, let's go to the end.
Yeah.
I never just gave up.
Yeah. Give me
Right?
the respect of playing it out.
Yeah, let me lose. Let me see how far I'm going to get before I lose.
Yeah.
Because some people, let's say they'll play a game, they're playing table tennis or whatever. And I said, the other guy's just outclassing them. He's done 10 love on them. I'm going to quit. No, why don't you, maybe after 10 love, you can turn the game around.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you have that in yourself? Like,
You're going to learn something even just by playing somebody like that.
and there's a beauty in losing. Like we've made losing like this like horrible thing.
Yeah.
Like, but you could lose. Like tomorrow, let's say, it's this public on camera. Let's say in my family conference, if I don't get custody of my daughter, that's okay. But I know that I tried my best.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give my best shot at this. And the right way. I'm not going to go unethical. I'm not going to do some shady thing. I'm going to do it the right way. And I'm going to give my best shot. But most people are like, I just lost. It's over. And it comes back to everything. It comes back to being wired a certain way. And these are the principles that we talk about at Punches and Prayers. This is the message I'm giving. Is, hey man up. Being a man, there's nothing wrong. Being a man of virtue, there's nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Being a man of faith, there's nothing wrong. Being a man of opinions, there's nothing wrong. Being a man that actually cares about society is great. Being a man that cares about your kids is great. Being a man that cares about other people's kids is great. Being a man that can stick and trying every single day to learn this thing called life and trying to help others, there's nothing wrong in doing so. There's nothing wrong in becoming like a Donald Trump. Like, even when people say Donald Trump, he didn't need to become the US president.
Nope.
What was, like, for what? He could sit at home and chill and for the rest of his life with Melania. Right?
Yeah.
I like men that stick up for something, that believe they stick up for something even. Whether they're doing it right or wrong, that's not the point. But doing is important. Not doing, to me, is the biggest turnoff. Not doing, giving up, blaming, victiming, not the realm I want men to be in. Like you said on my podcast the other time, I made that reel where you said, poor single father isn't being talked about enough. And I like that because we don't want men to become suckers.
Absolutely not.
Right?
Absolutely not.
Like, tell me, like, what else can we tell men at the end of the day? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a man that's achieved enough, and I really applaud you. The reason I really love what you're doing is that you don't need to do this, but you're doing it because you give a fuck, right? And imagine as men, we don't give fucks anymore. What's going to happen to society? It's already deteriorating.
Of course it is, because I think we have a duty. I think as men, we have a duty to the world. We have a duty to ourselves. And it all starts at home. That's the real truth. It starts at home. And it starts in those deep, dark hours at night when you're by yourself. And you reflect on what you're doing. You reflect on the things that you can improve. And I've been there. Every man has been there, where you go, I have a lot to do. And it's not to give up, but it's about realizing that I'm not meeting the bar right now. And The next step is to go, what am I going to do now to start making that change? What's the next step? And just keep one foot in front of the other over and over and over until in 3 months you look back and you go, wow, I was a total bozo 3 months ago and I didn't know what I was doing and I was an idiot and I shouldn't have thought that, whatever. But that is the chart for growth. That is how people build themselves. It's learning how to jab, learning a left hook. Mm-hmm. It's these little things over time. Then it's turning them into combos, learning how to defend it, and so on and so forth. How to manage your emotions in a fight, in a, whether it be, the word is passing. What is it when you actually spar? There, got it.
Spar.
Even if you're just sparring, it's learning how to manage your emotions so you don't punch the other guy out when you get hit or you feel like you took a cheap shot and you lose your freaking mind. How do you control yourself with that and maintain calm? And that's the beauty of the punches and prayers system, is that you're indirectly teaching guys how to emotionally self-regulate because you're putting them into really uncomfortable positions where they're tired, where they're fatigued, where their brain isn't working right, where they get hit, and now they have to learn to pick themselves back up again.
So let me ask you a question. How do you manage your schedule with all this craziness that's going on in your life, with your men's group, with your elite level coaching, with your book, with your podcast, with your family, with your life here, with your businesses that you're running? How do you manage your time? Something I would want to learn. I feel like I have it very good, but I always can improve because time is the ultimate currency.
It's one foot in front of the other. Often it's realizing the importance of being present beats trying to do everything at once. So we're here today. I'm laser focused on you. I want to talk about you. I want to listen to you closely. I want to ask you great questions and pull as much value as I can out of this because I know that you're a valuable man into this exchange for the audience.
Appreciate that.
When I see my kids, which is every day, I have that same experience. When I spend time with my wife, I have that same experience. It means putting your phone down. It means letting go of all the other stuff going on in your head and dedicating an hour or dedicating 2 hours or 30 minutes, or maybe it's a 10-minute check-in just to say hi.
How often do you Slack?
Not frequently.
Yeah.
Not frequently.
You're very accountable.
Not frequently.
Yeah.
I don't like doing nothing.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm much more action-based,
Yeah.
right? And it's doing these things day in and day out that build attraction. It builds respect. It builds trust. Whether it be in your marriage, it causes your kids to respect you more. It causes your kids to trust you more because they realize that you're connected. And when you say to children, hey, I need to do this, give me 30 minutes, then you have all my attention. They'll respect it. When you're just on your phone trying to do this sort of thing, and then they're barking at you, their behavior is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse because they want your attention. And if you don't communicate that boundary and say, hey, daddy's busy, I will see you in 30 minutes, go do something else, then you've got me full. They will love it. They will love you for it.
So what values are you instilling in your kids and what type of disciplines are you teaching them and what type of sports are you putting them in to garnish this type of energy in them? Because if there's other Ryans out there, that would be pretty crazy.
I hope there's more. It's trying to instill duty, responsibility, motivation, and this idea that you can do things for yourself. And our kids, my two kids, are very different in their personalities. One is much less likely to take things on his own accord, so you have to give him permission to do things. The other really will go way past what he is capable of, so you kind of have to pull him back into a realm where he can actually succeed. And the only way that you're going to notice this as a dad is if you're paying attention. Otherwise, you're going to think that your kids are the same, but they're not. So it's communicating to them in a way that clicks. So my one son wants to be a construction worker because he loves construction stuff like excavators and bulldozers and all this kind of stuff. So for him, it's reframing that into not a construction worker, construction company owner. Yeah. Because you don't want to sell your body for somebody else to make money off of it. Then you make more money, you have more freedom, you have financial wealth, which means you can build up your time wealth, your mental health, your physical health, etc. Then you go, oh, okay, so I can do a lot better doing that. What if I build cottages? Cool. The other one wants to be a chef because he's really into food and stuff like that right now. And it's like he wants to have his own like Michelin star restaurant because we took him to a 2 Michelin star restaurant when we were in France. Great. Individuality, creativity, business ownership. I'm all in.
Good.
So it's just putting the little pieces in place. And I had this conversation with my one son when he was like 3. And we were working out together here at the gym. Like I have a home gym here at the studio. And he came with me. It's like 6:30 in the morning. And I'm doing weights. And he's like, Daddy, why do you work out so hard? So I can stay healthy. Yeah, but why is health important? He didn't say it that way because he was 3. I'm like, the importance is it gives me the freedom to do things with you and keep up. And so why do you work so hard? To earn a living, to make money. Because what's the point of money? No. Oh, this is a really deep question. The point of money is freedom. The point of money is sharing with the people that you love. Is to give them the experiences that
100%, I agree with you.
Nobody else can get. And that's why you work so hard. And he goes, okay. And ever since then, he's repeated that. He's like really into money. He's 8.
8 now, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to earn money. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. And I go, why? He says, well, I just want to make sure I can take care of everybody.
And he's the one in construction? He's the one
He's the one that wants to do construction. Yeah. And when you start just dripping these little seeds in, changing the frames, telling them stories about heroes, telling them stories how heroes overcome things, telling them how people work, and explaining to them clearly, like, hey, like I had this really challenging issue at work today. I had this really challenging thing that I'm doing. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Tell your kids what you're going through, especially with sons. They want to hear this stuff. Sons love to hear this stuff. It's quality time where you're spending connecting to them. Let them ask questions. Will the questions be dumb? To you, yeah. But to them, no.
Yeah.
And it's your job to create a way to make it interesting.
My dad, he did something different, which I personally like, and I think I would do the same if I had sons too. My dad never let fantasy get to us.
What does that mean?
Anything to do with fantasy. Halloween is not true. There's no ghosts. There's no Santa Claus. Like, so I was like the party pooper in school. So grade 1, like kids would be like, oh, I'm going to go home and Santa's going to put kids. Listen, my dad told me it's all bullshit. Yeah. And then this kid would go to their parents, and then their parents come and tell the teacher, like, this one kid is ruining fantasy for our kids, but it did something really great in me. There was no fantasy in my life, ever. Everything was cause and effect. There was real things, real consequences, the real actual things that like gravity and this, that, but no fantasy. Like I never grew up imagining I'm going to become a super Star Wars character or any of that. A lot of fantasy was not given to me. It was always about the reality of things. Like that's how my dad raised me. It worked for me. I don't know about how other people do it today, but for me, it's like it made me wiser, younger, to still not be like a kid. It made me an adult. Like I would sit at a place and all these kids are like, I'm a Santa Claus and I'm that and this and that, like all whatever fairy tales. Yeah. And it's like, there's no tooth fairies. There's none of this stuff. Like it's all BS. Like the reality is this, your tooth breaks, there's science. He would let me say it that this kid said this. It's okay, that's what they said, but I'm telling you the reality. He's a kid. I'm your father. And then he would show me with proof that it's not true also. Right? Like, look, let me explain. This is how the gift comes. This is how they put it. Yeah. Right? And that worked really well for me because it never puts you in the state of fantasy and superstition. Right? Like, I think there's a lot of superstition too. Like horoscopes and this, that, and whatever. Any blame or anything instead of just being like the reality of things and situations. That's how my father raised us. Which is something I respect.
Insightful, yeah.
Yeah, like I respect it. Like I'm not saying other parents to do that, but I think that when I was younger, I was always at 2 or 3 grades ahead in terms of my mental capabilities.
So we're talking about storytelling and how you started Punches and Prayers. And one of the things that I want to bring to the audience that's listening is the ability for them to find you, but to use you as a resource and use Punches and Prayers as a resource. So what's happening at Punches and Prayers now?
When they have anything to do with divorce or any type of unwarranted type of situation like that, they can come to me. There's a forum there, put their information, we'll give them a call. I wrote a book. It's a free ebook that I wrote. It aligns with my story, and it's a combination of a lot of the stories of the men that went through my program. And essentially, it's called Masculinity on Trial.
Oh.
And it's 10 chapters. It's a book that I wrote myself. There's a free ebook there, and there's also audio version as well of me reading the whole book.
Amazing.
And then up and coming, we have a course coming out that we haven't fully put together. We've recorded it all. It's going to be a very, very, very useful course for people that are thinking of getting married, are in an unhealthy marriage, or exiting an unhealthy marriage. It's going to tell them this thing I talk about a lot is the enlightened man. And a lot of my theme around everything I talk about is what is the 21st century real enlightened man, like a complete man who has boundaries, who has all this, and how to get there. And that's some of the things that we are doing at Punches and Prayers to make sure that men can become that enlightened men who don't victimize, who don't blame women, who take accountability and are doing something to bring masculinity back. And that's kind of the journey that we're at. We have a YouTube channel, we have Instagram, we have TikTok. There's just a lot of great content out there, some controversial, some not. You could go at Punches and Prayers anywhere and you'll find it.
Punches and Prayers on YouTube.
Yeah, as well.
And at Punches and Prayers on Instagram.
Instagram and TikTok.
Excellent.
And we're just growing. We're growing, and we're looking forward to what the future has to bring to us. We've got a lot of great people behind us, which is what I love, is that, a lot of great men, whether it's multimillionaires, even 2 billionaires, and guys that say, hey, I love what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And the good thing is we never took funding from anybody. This is a self-funded project by myself. I did it myself. Like I said, I'm very self-dependent, even though I was offered by a lot of great people saying, hey, man, I love what you're doing. I want to put money into it. I'm like, I don't need any money. This is something that we're doing for a good cause. And we're going to monetize it to a certain extent, because at the end of the day, things have to be monetized to be running. At the end of the day, like, money is a thing that, like you said, it's going to increase life, but that wasn't the goal. And there's a lot of free value already there. So there's a free ebook. I recommend any man reading it. It's really unfiltered, raw, my words, not written by no editor. There's probably still even a spelling mistake. No, it's still probably a spelling mistakes, I think. I didn't think I reviewed it like that. It's just me going raw in 10 chapters and saying, hey, man, you're a man going through divorce. These are the scenarios you're going to go through, and this is what you have to become the enlightened man. And masculinity is on trial while you're doing this. So one of the things I always talk about, and this is my theme, is I don't care what you're going through. Is your masculinity or your manhood for sale? Mm-hmm. And if it is, then you've already lost, mm-hmm. right? I don't care if you're alone, you're on the street, but your manhood can't be sales. Your balls cannot be for sale. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my thing. And that's the kind of mission that I'm on. Whether I'm right or wrong, we'll see. But I believe I'm right, and I believe that society needs more of that, more of men just putting their balls on the line and saying they're going to stick for something and be consistent in their activities. Meaning not just wake up one time, 5 a.m, and then for 2 weeks you sleep until 11. It's useless. I'd rather have you wake up at 7 a.m, but do that for 30 days, 90 days, and then try to wake up at 5 and do that, right? I wake up at 5 every morning. I start my day with boxing. Before I came here today, I had my boxing session at 5:30 in the morning.
Amazing.
Right? So I start my day at 5:30 and I go until I'm extremely tired. I sleep. I'm living on 5 to 6 hours of sleep, and I'm feeling better than ever. All my health and everything that I've checked up on is up to par with my age and above par. So
that's fantastic.
Right? I think men can do a lot, no matter what you're going through. Right.
Sometimes it's just letting go of that hopelessness and realizing that you need to take that first step. You need to get rid of the distractions and take that first step. And I'm so grateful for having you on the show. I'm so grateful for what you're doing. I think it's so important. It's great to hear from lawyers. It's great to hear from other experts like myself, but you're going through the trenches in real time, right? There's a learned experience element to these things that's so valuable, that's so important. And telling your story and helping other men go through this and giving them a guide, come to my boxing gym. Mm-hmm. We're going to box together. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about what you're going through, mm-hmm. right? find some sort of, I hate to say religious, but religious or spirituality. Have faith in something that is giving you guidance, that's giving you hope, that's giving you a reason to continue on this path when at times you may not have that reason, right? So sometimes you just need to rely on the fact that somebody's there for you. And God, it's so important. It's refreshing to talk to guys like you in today's world where it's so combative, it's so heated, it's so men versus women, and just address the issue at hand. Men are failing. Men are on trial, as you're talking about. There's a lack of leadership, real masculinity. And I want to congratulate you on bringing this out. I want to congratulate you on your success. I know it's going to go really far.
I appreciate it.
And it's one of the most valuable messages that somebody can give today.
And likewise to you as well, too. I genuinely appreciate what you do because I know you don't have to do this. And I look up to you as a person, as a friend, as a mentor, as a brother. And I'm happy to see where you're going to go. And I hope you're going to go to the nth degree as well, too, because that's what I wish for you.
We're in it together.
Yeah.
We're going to have fun.
Yeah.
And for everybody watching, please make sure that you check out Punches and Prayers with my good friend, Muneeb Muhammed, at Punches and Prayers on YouTube, at Punches and Prayers on Instagram. He's on TikTok too. Mm-hmm. And maybe we'll convince you to join X one of these days. Yeah. But until then, check him out there. Watch for the content. Get the book. Start working on yourselves. This is such a valuable show today. And I'm so excited to continue this discussion soon. Until then, we'll see you next time.